Our son, Aaron Alexis, has murdered 12 people and wounded several others. His actions have had a profound and everlasting effect on the families of the victims. I don't know why he did what he did, and I'll never be able to ask him why. Aaron is now in a place where he can no longer do harm to anyone, and for that I am glad. To the families of the victims, I am so very sorry that this has happened. My heart is broken.
Well, that was the voice of Kathleen Alexis, the mother of the D.C. Navy Yard shooter, and what a powerful statement she just made. She had to say something as a mom. You want to let folks know, I'm sorry.
Pain in her voice.
Right. It's palpable, right?
It really is.
Yeah. She's so transparently emotional.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell she's trying to hold it in. And I think any mom sitting here watching that, or dad, gets that, because you have these dreams for your kid, and this isn't it.
Right.
And you know that other families are hurting so much.
And she has to sort of feel the grief of all of these people, and even the nation and her own.
Right.
So, you know, it's on the one hand, she, I'm sure, wants to grieve for the loss of her son, who she loved. It was her son. But on the other hand, there's sort of this dueling grief, and whose grief, you know, I don't...
And when you're as a mom, too, you know, whether you know your child is mentally ill or not, this is definitely a message that you can't stereotype. You got to get rid of that stigma that if you know your child is dealing with mental illness, you gotta help your child. No matter how old they are, how young they are, you need to get help and get the resources, because you can be helped.
You can.
Mental illness can be helped.
You can, and that's the biggest message that anybody could give. You know, he was obviously suffering, may have been suffering from some PTSD, but certainly those delusions, the auditory and visual hallucinations, he was someone, I'm sure she knew. I can just hear in her voice that she kind of knew something was up. And it doesn't even sound like she was, I don't want to say she wasn't surprised that this happened, but you can hear in her voice that
parents don't know what to do. Parents don't know what to do. I have friends, and their kids have been diagnosed as mentally ill, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what kind of resources they had.
And
can I tell you, it's expensive.
It is
very expensive. It's not like you can just go to your doctor and say, you know what, my kid's hallucinating. Can you help me out? There are specialists. There psychiatric treatment, drugs, all that stuff costs a lot of money.
It costs a lot of money, but most counties where we live in do offer subsidized, decreased service, sliding fee scales. There's ways to get help out there. You just have to ask. A lot of parents have never gone through this before. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to go. Start with your family practitioners. Start with, ask friends. A lot of people around here are walking around with mental illness, whether it's a mild form of depression or anxiety, social anxieties, even hearing voices. One of the first things that I learned on my college campus when I was an undergrad and taking my first psychology class was, you will not understand how many people are walking around here with schizophrenia, with depression, with anxiety, because they're taking meds and they're well functioning. There are a lot of people that are well functioning and have meaningful days every day on medication, and that's what you have to know. There's help out there. You got to go get it.
You know what's hard too is that a lot of these individuals know something's not right. When you hear